Tax Refund 2021. Welcome back, everyone. So happy to have you back. Before we begin with today's video, make sure you check out the income tax refund playlist pinned in the comment section as well as in the description box for all of your timely refund updates and tutorials. How to verify your identity, how to order a transcript online, what is a plus up payment, tips to get a live person on the phone at the IRS, as well as the new child tax credit breakdown and all of the approval dates from the comment section. All of those videos are in one playlist for you to check them out, with others sharing their approval dates with you so you can gauge when you may receive your refund, as well as my approval date is also in that playlist as well, and the most recent playlist with a tax return journey, tracking all of the steps that a tax return goes through before it is approved to give you an idea of what can go wrong that may be the reason for your tax return being delayed. Now for today's video, we have the IRS Commissioner answering questions in regards to the level of service, specifically phone service at the IRS. All right, so let's go ahead and listen to what he had to say.
Let me address your comments on the level of service. The level of service for us, the phone service, is an appropriated amount. Every 10% is approximately $100 million. We put in a request 2 years ago, before there was a pandemic, before there was EIP 1, 2, or 3, before everything that we've all lived through in the last year, for a 75% level of service, which would have been about $750 million. We were appropriated for our phone service at 50% without taking into account the volume that we were going to receive. The volume of telephone calls we've received to date is about 151 million calls. 2 years ago, that was less than 50 million calls. We have 13,760 folks who answer the phones. They're our customer service representatives. We got more recent funding to add 1,000 CSRs, so we have just under 15,000 CSRs answering phones. The last 1,000, it takes 12 to 14 weeks to train them. They did not come on board prior to February 15, which is the high volume calls. That's the date pursuant to the PATH Act that we're able to issue refunds, and so we get a lot of calls right around that point in time. It also ties into the fact that we extended this group through yesterday, which was filing date, Monday, I guess, the filing date to be able to be on the phones, to answer the phones. And this is the same group that once filing season ends, they pivot to be able to help us in our submission processing, the paper processing and the returns and whatnot. So it brought us down to obviously about 15,000 short, where we could have pivoted April 15th. We delayed filing season. These folks stayed on the phones. There's a connection for how the resources that we had got appropriated or got allocated, and it's created situations across the board. We have in 2021, between automated calls and actually CSR calls, and we use both, we have answered 31 million calls, and the average speed of answer during 2020 is the average time on a call is 19 minutes. The average time historically was 14 minutes. People need to understand that we are the primary contact for most people, government contact, with the exception of possibly VA or SSA, we're probably the only contact. Our employees who are frontline on these phones are listening to pandemic life stories of people who are calling in. I have encouraged that rather than have our people cut people off the phone and say, I got to go, I got calls backed up. It's very important. We have people crying on the phone, not related to anything we're doing, just that we happen to be their contact person. It's been difficult for our employees, but when you think that we've increased the call time from 11 minutes to 19 minutes, we only have, a little under 15,000 employees. We have 151 million phone calls coming in. At one time, we were receiving 1,500 phone calls per second. And I'm not sure any organization in the public or private sector would be able to provide the service that the people placing those calls deserve. We really are trying our best within the constraints that we have. and we are working through this. We appreciate the patience, understanding of everyone, members of Congress, as well as taxpayers. And we are sensitive to trying to make it better. We are advancing, we're improving, but some of the volume and the level of service numbers, when you consider that we shut down our system in March, April, our CSRs, only 3% of them were telework eligible in March of 2020. Now 100% of them are telework eligible. Where that becomes important, we had the recent snowstorms and weather shutdowns of some of our facilities. We didn't miss a beat. Our CSRs continued to answer the phones from home rather than coming in. So we've had some improvements, but I share your thoughts, your concerns, and for your constituents as well. This has been extremely difficult. It's not without effort and desire on the part of our employees.
Thank you.